Hi guys, let's talk about the Typhoon H and its wizard wand. I don't feel it's very well understood and it's not very well documented, so I thought I'd share with you what I know. These 4 buttons around the magic button, and they call it the magic button because I don't know why they call it the magic button. But these 4 buttons are basically your flight controls, and depending on the attitude of the wizard, whether it's horizontal or vertical, will change the function of those buttons. Now, these inputs are discrete, which means when you push the button, it's going to roll or yaw at a fixed rate. It's not going to be proportional like your sticks on an RC transmitter. Now, you can visualize these buttons as the sticks on a transmitter. A Mode 2 transmitter has throttle and yaw on the left stick, roll and pitch on the right stick. So when the wizard is in the horizontal position, these are your pitch and roll. So if you push the right button, the wizard rolls to the right. If you push the left button, the wizard rolls to the left. Push the pitch back, pitches back. Forward, pitch forward. Now, if you hold the wizard vertically, now the wizard becomes the left stick. At least these 4 buttons do. Push up, the wizard gives it throttle and it climbs. Push down and it descends. Push to the right and the wizard yaws. So those are your basic flight functions. Now, let's look at some of the other buttons here. The red button is the start-stop. You have to push and hold that to start the motors and stop the motors. I do like that feature because I don't have to worry about the wizard powering down in flight with full down throttle or a combined stick movement that's going to cut the motors. You have to push that red button and hold it for the motors to stop. The button below it's the power button, and you can see it's flush, or not quite recessed, but flush with the surface of the wizard. That means you actually have to make an effort to push that button, and you have to push and hold that button for several seconds to power up and power down the wizard. The magic button in the middle does several things. If you were to do a combination push of the magic button and the camera button, which is over here, or the magic button and the video button, which is over here, that would start and stop your video or take a picture. If you point and hold the wizard in a certain direction and push the magic button while you're in the smart mode, the Typhoon H will fly to that direction. We'll see some of that later. These various buttons have, or LEDs have, various functions that probably will take a little while to learn because they're various colors. This is for your aircraft, your GPS, your link. This is your wizard, power. Now let's look here at this slider. You have 3 modes: smart, angle, and home. Smart mode is very confusing, and as a longtime APM user, I'll try to explain the best that I can what the smart mode does. Angle mode is essentially stabilized mode, and home mode is return to home. So when you're in the smart mode, the wizard controls the H as super simple. What that means is you are the home point, and anytime you push this rear button, the wizard is, or the H is going to fly back to you. So whether you're nose out and you push this button to the rear, the wizard's going to fly, or the H is going to fly back to you. If you're yawed over here and you push back, the H is going to fly back to you. So essentially, you don't have to worry about yaw orientation. Whichever button you push, forward, reverse, left, or right, the H is going to fly in that direction. I personally don't like that, but it's something we're stuck with, and hopefully Unique will change in the future. Now, another misunderstood feature of the smart mode is the safe circle. The safe circle means the computer will not allow the wizard to get closer to you than a certain amount. I think it's 26 feet, so it would be 13 feet in any direction. If you try to pull the wizard or the H back to you while you're in the smart mode, it just won't come back. It will go forward, but it will not go back. It's not going to go flying off, but it simply will not go towards you. I like to fly in the angle mode. Now, a couple of other things. obstacle avoidance. Obstacle avoidance is not available in the smart mode. Obstacle avoidance is not available in the follow mode. Now let me say, when you're in the smart mode, you're in the follow mode. So wherever this wizard goes, the H is going to follow. Now you can turn off and on several features while you're in the smart mode. One is watch me. So if you were to press these two side buttons, the wizard would switch between follow and follow watch me. Follow watch me is pretty cool because not only will the wizard or the H follow you, but it will train the camera and gimbal on you. So regardless of what orientation the wizard is at, it will follow you around while aiming the camera at you. You can turn that off and then use the ST16 controller to control the gimbal if you like, or just have the camera fixed in an FPV position and still have it follow you. So that is controllable through these two switches. Now if you hit the top and bottom switch, that turns off dynamic altitude. Dynamic altitude is not very well understood. Inside this wizard is a barometer, and as this wizard rises and falls, the barometer reading is used for the H to rise and fall along with it. This is very helpful if you are going up a trail or you're driving a vehicle through different elevations, or even climbing a rock face where you want the Typhoon H to follow you. It will not stay fixed at the altitude or the barometer that's inside of the H. It will follow the barometer that's inside of the wizard. So that's one of the main features that I bought the Typhoon H for. Now, getting on to some more confusing combined button pushes for functions. You can calibrate the compass right through the wizard. You can turn obstacle avoidance on and off right through the wizard by pushing the two camera buttons. That's your retracts up and down. The retracts do appear to be smart, which means the retracts will not come up if you're on the ground. The wizard knows that. And I do believe the retracts will come down if you are in the landing mode and you forgot to put them down. I have not tried that yet, but I believe that's how they work. So let's move on to flying the H. I do want to show you one quick thing before we do. Here's the H's battery. It has a lever lock here that keeps it secure in the bay, which does no good if you don't put it in the bay securely. I am disappointed that this battery does not have some kind of level indicator on it, because it would be really nice if you have multiple batteries to know what the charge level is. So when you insert it into the H, firmly push it until you hear that click. If you push it like that, you see this gap. This battery is not seated. Push it until you hear it click. Now, regarding these arms, you can see if you release the arm, there's a metal clip backing up the plastic. There's also some fire sleeve or abrasion covering on the wires, so hopefully that will allow a lot of cycles without wear. Now when you pull the arm up, if you pull it up rapidly, you can hear somewhat of a click. Sometimes you don't so much hear the click as feel it. Another feature that I believe is built into these arms is the fact that if they take an impact, they will release. And I believe that's for crash, for minimizing crash damage. So I have tried to not lock the arm like this and take off, and the action of the prop will lock the arm. So I believe there's more to this design than meets the eye. Alright, we're going to arm the H and take off with the wizard wand. As you can see, it's very breezy here, maybe 10 or 15 miles an hour, but this H handles the wind no problem. Here we go. Push and hold the start and stop button for about 3 seconds. Holding the controller vertical, I'm going to hit the up button. Now, The H is within the smart circle, which means watch what happens when I hit the button to come back towards me. Actually, I had it too vertical. That's something you got to be careful of. At 45 degrees is where the switch happens. So I'm going to hold it horizontal and try to come back to me. You'll notice it will not come back. Now I'm going to push the forward button and it will move away from me. So the H will not come towards you if you were within the smart circle. Now you can change to the angle mode and then the H will come towards you. Now let's bring it up a little bit. Get it out there. This wind's really picking up. We're going to press these two buttons, the camera buttons, and we should see our gear go up. Now, holding the right button in the vertical position will yaw the H. Let me bring it back a little. So I'm going to hold the controller down. Let's bring it down a little. Now I'm going to yaw the H 90 degrees to me. So I'm going to hold the controller vertical. It is now 90 degrees to me. I'm going to go back to the horizontal position and push the forward arrow. And you will notice it goes away from me. Pull it back, it comes towards me. Now let's see what happens if I try to approach the safe circle. Up. There's the limit of the safe circle right there. So while leaving it yawed away from me, push the button forward and it goes forward. Push the button left and it goes left. Right and it goes right. Now let's bring the wizard back to us. So all I have to do is push the back arrow with the wizard horizontal. Close as she's going to get. This wind is really kicking up, guys. Let's go into the angle mode. So I'm going to push the slider back into the angle mode. You will notice that the LED on the aircraft turned purple. So now if I push forward on the stick, the H goes to my right. If I push back, H goes to my left. Let's rotate it. Hold the wizard vertical. Now push forward. And the H flies away. Now I'm going to bring the H back closer. First I'm going to straighten my yaw out. And you will notice that the H will now fly within the safe circle in the angle mode. Now, I'm going to put the retracts down and let's try a landing in this wind. So here's our combined button control. And you can see our gears coming down. And I'm actually surprised how soft you can land the H. I'm pushing the button like you would an old rubber band escapement. Very slowly. And we do have quite a breeze going here. So let's see how it lands in this wind. Now I am tapping these buttons. Beautiful. I can tell you there's some other quads that I have that in this wind would have more difficult time landing than that. Okay, let's try some other features. Again, we're going to hit the start stop. Hold the wizard vertical. Hold it horizontal and get it away from us. We're in the angle mode. We'll go ahead and leave our gear down. I don't see any reason to put it up. We're not filming. Now, let's say I want the Typhoon H. Let's get up a little altitude here. Go out a little bit further. Now I just switched from the angle mode to the smart mode, and I don't know if you saw the LED change, but we're going to try the magic button. We're going to see if it really is magic. So let's go over there. Push and hold. Well, that pretty much is magic. Let's try it one more time. I'm going to aim to my right here. Got a beep. And there goes the H. That's pretty cool. I'm going to bring it down a little, so let's go vertical. Now, we're going to see how the H does and follow. So I'm going to start walking. And as you can see, the H is following with me. Now, the camera is not pointed at me. We are not in watch me. Now guys, here's something that's really cool. Dynamic altitude. By pressing this top and bottom button, it turns on and off dynamic altitude. What that means is the barometer inside the wizard is going to control the altitude of the H based on its position, not on the H's position. Now I'm a little concerned because of the wind we have here, but let's see how this is going to work out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the barometer up. I think you can see the H is crawling up slowly, and now I'm going to move it down, and the H is following down. Let's go back up, down. It's hard to do these demonstrations in the park without looking like a rambling idiot, because I don't know what these people are thinking I'm doing. Okay, let's go up, and you can see the H goes up. So I think that's pretty cool and very useful, especially if you're doing something vertical, some vertical shooting. Now I'm controlling the altitude simply by moving this wizard wand around. Alright, the battery's starting to get low and the wizard's warning us. Let's try another landing. You can see how gentle you can land the H. I'm snapping the button gently. Winds are high. Hold the button until you go to the idle, then push and hold start stop. Alright guys, sorry, that's all the battery I have. Still waiting for my batteries, but there are more functions that I'll show you, including how to watch me, follow me, and some other wizard functions operate. So far I can say I've had zero problems with this wizard. It's just got a steep learning curve, and if you don't understand how it works, and you don't understand how the smart modes work, and you don't understand how the safe mode works, you're going to have some issues. Now, Unique does have dynamic altitude built into this. Dynamic return to home. What that means is it will follow the wizard around and update your home point. So if I were at the other end of this field or behind me, the H would return to me within a certain distance rather than to the initial launch point. So it's not really RTL, it's RTH. It's dynamic RTH based on where the wizard is. And I'll try that out, as well as powering off the wizard in flight to see what that does, trying to land with the retracts up, and some other functions in a follow-up video. Thanks.